Welcome to Tuttle Talk, a part of the Real Estate Radio Network. And now, live in studio, offering you a fresh perspective. He's your local real estate and finance expert. He's part of the Common Sense Party, and he's committed to teaching you how to win in any market. Your host, Andy Tuttle.
Good afternoon and welcome to Tuttle Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network, where we teach you what the rich and the banks do, not what they tell you to do, and where we dispel the misconceptions of financial wellness and the local real estate market and show you how following a few key principles really can free you up to focus on the other important areas of your life, like your friends, your family, and the community. It's the most important hour of radio every Sunday right here on 660 AM The Answer at 3 p.m. in the great state of Texas. I am your host, Andy Tuttle. Thank you so much for joining me. Really want to pack this show for you today. We're going to talk about the 4 must-know questions that you just have to ask when you're shopping around for a home loan. I mean, you got to ask them. It's going to save you so much money. You're going to love it. How to get a lower rate when you owe more on your home than it's worth. I know there's a lot of people upside down in their homes right now. We're going to show you how you can maybe get help as well, even if you're in that situation. We're also going to talk about how you can get rid of those. We'll really talk about what those pesky medical collections are that are dragging down your credit score and what you can do about it. We're going to show you a few key strategies and techniques you can use on how to reduce headaches during the home buying process, which is just such a stressful job right now. There's 33 different people, 8 different companies that work on any home loan. We're going to show you how to kind of remove some of those headaches. And then I talked to our special guest today, Steve LaMure over at Dominus Commercial. He's the owner over there. We're going to talk about what's going on in the commercial real estate market and how you may be able to use that for your advantage in growing wealth. Also, we're going to talk to Steve Wingard over at Nexus Financial Advisors. He's a partner over there, a financial advisor, and a certified family business specialist. So we're going to get some good insight from him on, now that the Dow has reached 15,000, what does that mean? Is that really sustainable? What do you need to do to make sure you can maintain the wealth that you've created over your lifetime? So very important topics. A lot of things have changed. A lot of regulations have come into play. So we'll get some good insight there. Now, during the show, if you want to call, if you have questions, if you're curious about a topic that we're discussing and you want to get a hold of us and find out more information, you can call us 214-736-9696, 214-736-9696. You can also email me at questions@andytuttle.com. You can become a fan of the show at facebook.com/Tuttle Talk, and you can get into the conversation there. We're always going to give some advice every single day. We try to interact. We have the fans interact. You can air some questions, get some feedback, not only from me, but from our other expert contributors that are on the show, and from some of the listeners as well. So get in there, facebook.com/Tuttle Talk. And you can also listen, remember, if you get out of your car, you want to keep listening, great thing about technology today, just pick up your phone. You can stream it at 660amtheanswer.com if you're at your office or just on your home computer. But you can also, on your phone, you can put it on your Android, put it on your app, the 660 AM app, and you can continue listening there and get that good feedback. And if you do miss the show, you want to catch it, or you just want to catch some past shows, go to andytuttle.com. Now, when you call the hotline, somebody's going to answer that phone. They're going to ask you why you called. Just let them know. I've had them ask some basic questions on purpose. I've given them a list of questions to ask you to make sure that I'm doing my job to properly prepare you for a prosperous future. A lot of P's there. But that's why they're there to answer those questions for you. So when you do that, just know they want to help, and I have them there to help you. So call. You won't be surprised on air. It's an off-air number, 214-736-9696, and they're going to take great care of you. I'm joined today with a good friend and my personal punching bag, Gabe Abshire, owner of Utility Concierge. Gabe, welcome to the show.
Great to be here. Excited about it. Pumped.
I can tell. You look at that genuine smile. Yeah, I can't punch anyway. It's good. Gabe can beat me up. He's twice my size and mostly all in the belly, but he can't reach me right now.
Just continuing. But there's a monitor in between us.
There is a good monitor. Nice. I keep trying to cover your face with it, but I can't quite get it to work. Nice. And then another expert of ours, you know him and love him, John Allen, owner, Texas Community Insurance. John, thanks for being here.
Thanks. Glad to be here. I think I'm moving away from Gabe, though.
Yeah, that's good. You need to do that. We're just going to all converge on attacking Gabe.
Nah, it's cool. I got a mute button set up. Me and Dan hooked it up. Got a little go button.
Dan is our production director. He has to put up with us for far too much every time we're here. But, speaking of people I love, this guy Philip. Contractors are hard to find. When was the last time you guys had a contractor anytime recently? Like on your house, have you had to get a contract in the last couple of years to do landscaping or fix something? Have you had to have any of that?
Yeah, I have, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I don't know about you, but they've been really bad experiences for me mostly. I live in an older home in White Rock, and, it's been refurbished or whatever, rehabbed, renovated. And it was old piping from the 50s because in the war, I found this out, they had Orangeburg because they had to shut down, I guess, the steel production. And so it's like clay that's just matted together. It's like paper mache.
Right.
So it just collapses over time. So we had to get that replaced. But the guy that replaced it, it was one of those deals where he came in there and said one thing and then it double charged. He ended up breaking my sprinkler line, even though he charged me more to do it the hand way so that he wouldn't break the line and all this stuff. Anyway, it was a nightmare. Well, this guy's totally different. Philip Garcia over VO 2000. He has done. He did our backyard. We tried to get a bid. We wanted to add some flagstone and make a nice big patio with a little small outdoor kitchen. We had saved up for it and we got it bid, but just to basically tear out the ground and put just basic concrete down was going to be $8,000. It's like, oh my gosh. So that was our first bid. So we talked to Philip. He does the whole flagstone with the outdoor kitchen, takes all the shrubbery away or whatever you got to do, levels it all. It looks beautiful. Half the price.
Nice.
Ridiculous. So then he comes, the guy that broke our sprinkler system last year. So we got some bids from sprinkler guys. It was going to be like $1,500 just to fix the one line. Not test anything, not change. Everywhere we got $1,000 to $1,500. 4 or 5 different bids. Well, we didn't do it. So then we've been watering manually because we didn't want to pay that. So Philip comes, he fixes the whole thing beautifully, everything done, new timer box and all that, plus not just the pipe, which was going to cost $1,000. He does that, plus 12 different sprinkler heads around, fixes everything, updates, caps off stuff, $1,000. It's absolutely ridiculous. So this guy is so good. Now he's helping us with our shower. He's helping us with other stuff because it's older house. Some things just have to happen. You got to fix things. But he's fantastic. If you need contract work done, I told him, I was like, dude, I'm going to talk about you on the radio today because you're amazing. If you need contract work done for whatever, it's small thing, you need one little tiny thing fixed, or maybe you have a big project, this is the guy to call. Call me, 214-736-9696. We're going to hook that up for you. But seriously, how was your contract experiences?
Well, I'm pretty good at finding contractors, but I've had some nightmare, but in our business utility concierge, we have contractors that we refer. So I'd love to talk to that guy because that's kind of our niche. Is we want to refer the guy. We don't want to give you 10 or 3. We want to just say, call this guy. He'll take care of you.
Dude, I got to hook you up.
I need to talk to him.
You got to hook me up, too, because that's exactly the contractor issue. Last weekend we had was the bid for fixing our sprinkler. And the first bid we got, I'm like, no, we're not paying that. No, absolutely not. So we definitely need to talk.
Okay, well, we're going to make that happen. And Gabe, I know I don't even know. I feel a little embarrassed that I didn't think of that because you are like the super connector when it comes to everything home contracting, from security, utilities, internet, electricity, phone lines, all that junk. It's not junk. We all need it. But my gosh, my bills are so big on all that. But you are the man on that. So I'm glad. I didn't even think about you for landscaping, I guess, and sprinklers because it's out of that utility. But that's you too, huh?
Well, we're actually in the process of looking for good landscaping companies. So anybody out there that has good landscaping company, we're looking for 3 or 4 that can cover the whole entire metroplex. Because that's actually one of our biggest requests is, we need landscaping. We do a lot of other things, but it's really hard to find one company to take care of such a big area.
Okay, that's good. Okay, cool. Yeah. So a business professional is a landscaper, give us a buzz, man. Let's hook it up because Gabe is a super connector. He's got a great business model. We'll talk about that in the next segment of how it helps consumers, and it's great. I love it. And helps realtors, helps our community. I love it because it's freaking I don't need the extra headache. When I bought this house, I wish I would have had you. That was a beating. All the stuff you got to do to connect everything up.
Well, we'll take the beating for you. Maybe that ties in. That ties in.
We've come full circle.
That's why I'm here. I take the beating for you.
We found your new tagline.
My concierge takes the beating for your clients.
All you got to do is learn how to laugh like the Pillsbury Doughboy, and you're perfect.
Try it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. No, that's some kind of weird witch.
That's just wrong.
That's a weird. That is not the Pillsbury Double Love. You're gonna have to work on that one. All right, you're listening to Tuttle Talk here on the Real Estate Radio Network. Coming up, I'm going to get with our expert contributors here and do a rapid fire segment on a few things. One, how to handle those pesky medical collections that we talked about that are running your score so low. We're going to talk about 3 techniques you can use to drastically reduce the stress during the home buying process. And I'm going to tell you a situation that I personally had with John Allen at Texas Community Insurance that legitimately helped us out, and we're so glad we have him. We'll tell you about that and get into some mortgage matters next. Welcome back, Dallas. You're listening to Tuttle Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network. I am your host, Andy Tuttle. Remember, you can listen 660 AM app on your iPhone or your Android. You can stream this as well at 660amtheanswer.com, and you can reach out to us on our off-air hotline at 214-736-9696, 214-736-9696. We have people there to answer the phones for you. They're going to ask you some basic questions. I've instructed them to do so that we can make sure that we're doing our job to help you properly plan for the future. So make sure you do that, or you can also email us questions at andytuttle.com, and you can join us on the fan page, facebook.com/Tuttle Talk, and ask me or any of the expert contributors questions directly there, and we will get back to you as well. Okay, joining me now, Justin Nichols of the Nichols Law Firm, a true expert in credit, all things credit. It's such a big deal in our culture, our society right now. There's a lot of challenges with it, and he's here to kind of cut through that muck. He is our own Mr. Credit. Justin, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Andy. Always good to be here.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and it's always good to have you here. You give a lot of great value to the listeners. Today, I've been teeing up mostly because we've just seen a lot of it lately, medical collections, and a lot of people have challenges with that. It's very weighty on people, and they don't know what to do about it. What are the challenges with medical collections, and is there anything that people can do about it?
You know, I'll be frank with you. Not only are they the most difficult for a lot of consumers, but they're the most difficult for me as well to deal with. There's so many dynamics. Oftentimes, you see other people incur debt as a result of their own fault frequently. But medical collections are unique because many times the debt arising from the treatment of or provision of medical services comes because of an accident or something that's not controlled by the client or consumer. And so that's what makes them particularly unique. But also, the medical industry itself is huge. It's confusing. There's multiple players. When you go to the hospital, you get 4 different bills. It's hard to find out who's owed what. And then the big problem is no one knows really what anything costs. These things get sold and resold, and they're just one of the most challenging things to deal with for a consumer and attorneys alike.
You know, it's very interesting when you say that because Beth broke her leg a couple of years ago. There was $100,000 in medical bills. Of course, we paid $5,000 of that, but we could have paid $15,000. Literally, so many double bills and missed bills and all this stuff. We can totally see how people get collections. It's so frustrating. She cried a couple times. She's hurt. We're trying to figure this out. So I know it's just so stressful, and people just miss stuff because the system's all busted up. So in that situation, and I know that you actually, Brian Moore, he works with us over at Quantum Design Group. You actually helped him out. You got 2 medical collections away off of his credit report, and was able, or in the middle of settling a 3rd one. So why does a person need to get with a credit restoration company like you to get that off, and what does that do to help them?
Well, probably one of the reasons your wife cried was because it's so frustrating. You know, one of the most difficult things is to learn the process, learn the industry, navigate it, and then find those 1 or 2 people within a huge organization that have, one, the know-how and the authority to make a decision and sort things out and make it right. There's a lot of different avenues that people can use, from administrative law to regulatory agencies, boards, or governing bodies over hospitals and doctors. There's also a lot of other ways that we can go about getting disputes resolved, and up to and including a lawsuit if need be. You know, the difficult part is getting that right person on the phone and getting your issue in front of the right person instead of someone at a call center who has no authority other than to just read information off a computer screen. So if you're willing to do it on your own, there's a chance you probably can do it if you're willing to take the hours and learn the ropes. But I recommend people don't reinvent the wheel. Hire someone with experience. You'll get a lot better results and a lot better results faster than putting yourself through the pain and suffering of sorting out medical collections. If you've had medical collections, you've already gone through enough pain and suffering, probably.
That's a very good point, that you don't go through that pain and suffering again on an emotional level all over again. I will tell you this, and Justin is right on this, guys, that you need to hire someone. Here's the great news. One, he's an attorney. So here's what's important about that. One, there are governing bodies that make sure he does the right job, or he can get disbarred. Just a regular credit restoration company, they don't have those same regulations and that kind of oversight. Also, you do not pay until you get results. Justin, isn't that correct?
That's true.
So that's a huge difference, guys. It's not, it's not like these other guys. You pay them up front, then I don't know if they're going to do anything. No, you get results. That's when you get it done. It's an investment in your future. It will save you literally thousands and thousands of dollars on borrowing costs over the rest of your life. Get it fixed. Call us today. We'll get you with the expert. 214-736-9696. 214-736-9696. We'll get you with Justin, and he is going to take care of you. Justin, I can't tell you how much I appreciate what you do for our listeners.
Thank you so much, and tell Brian hi for me, and you have a good day.
All right, you too, brother. We'll see you. Bye. Okay, I will tell Brian hi. Brian, hi. So he is the guy behind the camera. So I think he's blushing. He's waving. That's good.
Hi, Brian. Good to see you, buddy.
All right, let's get into some mortgage matters here, and then we're going to get with Gabe and John very quickly because I wanted to tell you about the 4 questions you need to ask. So pull over to the side of the road if you got to write this down, or get your Siri up and record it, because these are so important. If the person on the other end of the phone does not know the answers to these questions, run, don't walk, run to a lender that does. This is the difference. It can make a huge difference. Not only you're experienced in the home buying process or when you're reorganizing your financing, but literally the rate you're going to get and the costs over time. Okay. 1, what are mortgage interest rates based on? John, what do you think mortgage interest rates are based on?
Supply and demand of money.
Okay, good general question. Gabe, or good general answer. Gabe, do you have an idea on that?
Credit score, income, debt-to-income ratio, things like that.
So most of the time when you ask people, and that does have something to do with it, but the interest rates themselves, what they're based on, most of the time the answer you get is the 10-year Treasury, right? You hear that all the time. That's all the talking heads talk about it. 10-year T-note. Well, here's the deal. They do ebb and flow with that. But if you look at it like this, kind of looking at the 10-year Treasury to find out what mortgage interest rates are doing is kind of like looking at the tech market, or you could even say broader the Dow, to find out what Apple's doing, right? It ebbs and flows. You get an idea. If you look at an industry size, you can see, okay, well, this is what the tech market is doing, but you don't necessarily know what Apple's doing. It's the same thing. 10-year T-note gives you an idea, but sometimes it goes in the complete opposite direction as mortgage-backed securities. Mortgage-backed securities are what interest rates are based on. That's what you have to look at to find out. And that's what you have to be watching to know what they're doing in a given day. And here's why that's important. Everybody gets their money from the same place. The rules have changed. It all comes from the secondary market. It's your lock strategy, and I'll get into that more in a second. But here's the second question you got to ask. What is the next economic report that could cause some interest rate movement, right? Because there's a ton of them every week. For instance, tomorrow, retail sales comes out. It could be a market mover. On the 2nd, May 2nd, about 10 days ago, the jobs report came out. The market dropped about 60 basis points. It was about an eighth, almost a quarter in rate, depending on what your note rate was and what loan program and credit and all that fun stuff. We locked everybody on the 2nd because we understand that was coming and what the risks were, because we knew everything else that it was going to come in a little bit better than expected, and that was going to cause a challenge. So you have to know that, because here's the deal. If you shop around to 1,000 lenders, and let's say it takes you a day or two to do that because you're shopping around, and you ask them all what their rate is, you may have a difference in an eighth just because the market moves, right? It's not about the lender. They could all have the same rate, but it's just different time of day. And let's say you do genuinely find something that has an eighth lower rate, or $200 lower in closing costs, or whatever that is, but they're not watching the market, and you miss, like we did a few weeks ago, a 0.5% move, and they locked you in either before that or they waited too long and locked you after that, there's an enormous gap in your rate. That's where the money comes in. It's about lock strategy and what are your financial plans for the home? What's the right loan program for you, and what's your target close date, right? On a purchase especially, but on especially if you're in a refinance, if you want to do that, maybe we wait, right? Or maybe we need to act really fast. So that's the second question. Third one, what does it mean when Ben Bernanke changes the rates, right? Because you hear that all that he changes the Fed funds rate, right? And that's not the mortgage interest rate. That affects overnight rates, credit card rates, car rates, not mortgage rates. In fact, sometimes it moves in the opposite direction. He may lower the Fed funds and the rates rise because of dynamics in the financial markets. The fourth question is, do you have access? You got to ask the guy this or the girl this. Do you have access to live real-time mortgage bond quotes? And make them show you. That's what you got to do. Because if they can't show you that, they're not the professional you need to deal with. You got to deal with someone that knows this stuff right now. It's a volatile market. You got to watch it, guys. So those are the 4 questions you got to ask. Know those. The other person better know those answers. If not, get with somebody that does. The team over at Remnant Elite knows the answers to those questions. They're going to give you a free analysis, a mortgage consultation, give you a copy of your credit report, show you how to improve it so you can get the lowest borrowing cost possible, all for free. You can go to questions@andytuttle.com or call 214-736-9696, and we will connect you with a mortgage coach that will help. John, I called you last week. My wife did, because we got some weird deal on the bill I can't even remember, but she deals with that stuff. She actually handles all that for us. And I don't even know what it was about, but I know it got taken care of. What was that again?
I think one of the payments got applied to the wrong policy. I think you were trying, or she was trying to pay
auto, and it went to,
and it was applied to home, and that created a billing snafu that we fixed quickly.
See,
it's easy.
Exactly, it was easy for you, but before, when I've had that issue, it was a nightmare. Little things like that, calling a call center and junk. I got to tell you, it was great. We were just like, call the number. You had it on the thing. Your team took care of it. It was awesome. It's what's important to having that person in your life.
Yeah, general theme. I heard Justin talk about it too, about dealing with a professional. When you're calling a call center, nothing against call center people. A lot of people do that, but there's certain things you don't want to leave up to a call center. You want personal attention to certain things. And real quick example, in my world, I see a lot of homeowner policies that have residence glass on them. Okay, real quickly, the deal with residence glass is it basically means that they'll come out and fix your glass for free. The kicker, though, is that when you use that, then you have a non-weather claim on your file. And what happens with non-weather claims, your premium goes up, right? So real briefly, talk to somebody, make sure that they understand that there's certain kinds of endorsements you don't want on your policy. Call center person may not do that for you.
Yeah, you're 100% right. They probably won't do that for you. And that's why I love having you not only as my personal insurance guy, but also as an expert contributor on the show. So thanks for being here. Guys, you know the number. Do the email. We'll get you hooked up with a professional. That's one of the points of the show. I'm bringing all kinds of professionals all over DFW to make sure you're connected to good people. Gabe, I know you've always are here giving good ideas, and you're always here in the community, and your company's growing on you're helping people with these headaches in the home buying process. But I also know you have some tips for people just on their own, some good strategies and techniques people can use during the home buying process to keep those headaches low. What are those?
When it comes to utilities, there's tons of tips I can give for the real estate world, but when it comes to moving, tips that helps you during your move, and specifically to the utilities is always allow plenty of time to do that. Dedicate one person to it, and then lastly, make sure you have a great real estate team around you. You're a good realtor, financial planner, and a great mortgage professional. Right,
and you got to do that. When you say give plenty of time, how long before you move should you be looking at, like, your utilities, for instance, and your internet and security and all that?
You should really be looking at it kind of every year, honestly. If you're in the house and you might not be moving for a while, it's a good habit to get in to look at it to make sure you're getting the best deals possible. So
that's a good point.
Anytime when you're in the house, and then really when you sign the contract, start looking, because you want to make sure that you can have all the options available to you. So, you could get into a house, and if you didn't have plenty of time, you might not have internet for 2 weeks. What's that going to do to you?
That's going to cause a lot of problems in my house.
Yeah. What's that going to cost you, especially if you work from home?
Yeah, that's going to cost you a lot. So when you say dedicate one person, so you think, how does that exactly work? How would you suggest that looks?
Just have one person taking care of it. Don't do the back and forth game. Have one point of contact for whoever you're working with. That way, if you're going to make one person's life miserable. Just make one person, not the whole family.
That's right.
Don't drag everybody down.
Better be me. If it's my wife, I'll be in real trouble. So you can do that, but Gabe, and I'm setting you up here and setting you guys up at home here. Really, you can do all that, and it's definitely the way it's been done for decades. But Gabe's made a company where for free, if you use a realtor and for free now currently, but I know that's changing if you don't.
It is.
So you definitely want to, it's complimentary, because there's a ton of value here, and I don't want to cheapen that. But right now, if you go to utilityconcierge.com or you call us, 214-736-9696. If you're in a move, you're thinking you're going to move, or you just want to see if you got best deals and all that stuff and don't want to take 4 hours to do all the calls, just take advantage. It's a no-brainer. Don't think about it. Just do it. And we'll get you connected with Gabe and his team, and they'll take care of you. Cool, man. So thanks, Gabe, for being here. As always, I appreciate you guys. Coming up here on Tuttle Talk, we are going to get with our special guest today, Steve Wingard of Nexus Financial, and Steve LaMure over at Dominus Commercial, to give you some good ideas on how to invest in this market, what are some good investments to make, and good strategies to make in the market. So stay with us. Welcome back, Dallas. You're listening to Tuttle Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network. I am your host, Andy Tuttle, here in the great state of Texas every Sunday, 3 p.m. here on 660 a.m. The Answer. Remember, you can call our off-air hotline, 214-736-9696, 214-736-9696. We're going to introduce you to some people, the experts. For the question that you have, we will get you the answer. I will make sure to get you introduced to the professional that can help. So you can call us or email us questions at andytuttle.com. Now, we have our special guest today, Steve Wingard over at Nexus Advisors, LLC. He is a certified family business specialist, a financial advisor, and a partner of the firm. And he really has a good grasp on what's going on in the market today and what are some key strategies, what are some of the problems, and what are some of the strategies to solve those problems to help you maintain your wealth. And I've also brought with us Steve LaMure over at Dominus Commercial. He is the owner of the company, and he's just got a great grasp on what's going on in the commercial real estate market. And it's so interesting to me because of how it relates to what's going on in the residential market and some of the unique investment opportunities there. So, Steve's, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, good. Well, I want to get to you guys and the real experts, but before I do that, I have, because I know you guys know Gabe, and I know he is such a smart guy, that I'm going to play a game with him, our favorite game on the show, Deal or No Deal.
Thanks, Howie.
Yeah, here we go. That's right. Here we go. See how I do that? I get that ready. Okay, are you ready to play?
I'm ready.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear it. All right, here's the question. Gabe, Utility King Abshire, you like that?
I feel like I'm getting set up here, but go ahead.
Owns 11 financed properties, okay? Financed 11 properties. He is purchasing a new primary residence in La Jolla, because I know how you love La Jolla, using conventional financing. Now, 3 of the existing 11 properties are currently financed by Real Estate Mortgage Network. So one entity, us, let's say. The others are financed by some other institutions, okay? Now, Gabe here only has 3 months of payments set aside after closing. So after he puts his down payments, all he's got in reserves is 3 months. He's living thin right now with all those properties. Is this a deal or no deal?
One clarification question.
Yes, go ahead.
Is it 3 months of reserve for all 11 properties or just the one I'm purchasing?
You have 3 months set aside for just the property you're purchasing. 3 months period. 3 months of payments for the property you're purchasing. That's what you have set aside. So not a lot of cash left over.
No deal.
That's your answer? The answer is, it's a deal. Can you believe it?
Is it 2006?
No. So here's the deal. If the property being delivered to Fannie Mae is secured by your primary residence, so because it's your primary residence that you're buying now, it doesn't matter. That's the trick. So you think, so you're going to live in this property. So you have the normal restrictions. You don't have the extra 6-month restrictions that you would if it was an investment property.
Must be perfect credit and perfect debt to income.
Oh my God, yeah. So it doesn't qualify for you. No. It's everyone else. So yeah, that's the answer. So thank you for playing, Mr. Abshire. I appreciate you playing. Okay, Mr. Wingard.
Yes, sir.
I brought you here today because I know first of all, there's a need just to get better financial advice on what's going on in the marketplace. And I want to speak to a couple of things, some questions I've been getting from my listeners about what to do to maintain your wealth. But first, I want to talk about what typically happens. When does someone typically come to a financial advisor like you?
Usually people come to a financial advisor when they're going through some period of change. So, you think of people making 401k deposits, for example, making $1,000 a month or $500 or whatever the denomination is. Those are simple decisions, but when somebody starts transferring money, they retire, and now all of a sudden $1,000 a month is $1 million account.
Right.
Okay. So typically when people are going through change, buying out a business, inheritance, different things like that, life changes provoke people to want to get second opinions at least.
So that seems to me like a reactive play, right? It's like something happens and then I do something. Why should they come? Are there some proactive reasons that they should come to you before that happens?
Well, the reality is that most people don't plan. You've heard this statement that people put more time into planning their favorite vacation than they do their life savings. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the value that a financial advisor can add is holding somebody's feet to the fire of putting a plan in place and asking questions and helping people ask themselves questions they otherwise won't face. So
basically an accountability partner, if at the base level, is one of the reasons you should come, someone to keep you accountable for what you want to do and make sure you stay on track.
Yeah, by having somebody give you advice on a financial plan doesn't mean that you're not capable of, doing the various tasks of financial planning. Most people, even if they're capable of doing it, they don't follow through, or they don't follow through in all areas. Okay, we all have our own biases. We have time constraints. There's just various reasons why people aren't going to put together a comprehensive plan for themselves, or very few people are.
So because we're in a state where, like you said, people aren't planning, they haven't planned, there are a lot of retirees out there that actually have, and especially it was very smart listeners and people that have prepared and listened to this show, but a lot of things have changed. And so they're in a situation where maybe they are a little reactive, and there is a challenge of, what do I do now to make sure I maintain my wealth? What kind of problems have you noticed going on with maybe the retiree community right now, and what are some solutions that you can have for them?
Well, the interesting thing, you talk about the retirees, whether all of us got shocked by 2008, right? And so some people still are scared of the market, or haven't implemented a plan, or haven't gotten back to a plan. So they're insecure about what their income plan is. They're taking inappropriate amounts of risk, or too much, too little. Okay, everybody thinks 2008 is going to happen again, which is very, very, very improbable. But they're letting that dictate what they're doing today.
Right, and so I think that. Yeah, I think that even though it is improbable, there's definitely a possibility there, and we want to talk about, I think there's some ideas that people need to know how they can move in any type of environment, and that's what I want to get to Steve here, LaMure, the other Steve, here in a second. But right now here on Tuttle Talk, we're going to go to break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk to both of the Steves. We've talked to Steve Wingard a little bit about what to do to maintain your wealth and some of the challenges out there. We're going to talk to LaMure about what's going on in the commercial market now, and are there some investment properties to build your wealth? So stay with us. Welcome back, Dallas. Thank you so much for joining us here on Tuttle Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network every Sunday, 3 p.m. We are here. You can call the hotline 214-736-9696, 214-736-9696. Today in studio, we have Steve Wingard at Nexus Advisors, LLC. He is a partner, financial advisor, and a certified family business specialist. We also have with us Steve LaMure over at Dominus Commercial. He's the owner there, and they're giving us some insight on what's going on in today's market. And like we try to do every week in different ways, give you different opportunities that are there for you to take advantage of. Mr. LaMure, thank you for being here, first of all.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Okay, so, we're talking to Wingard a little bit about how to maintain your wealth on very surface level stuff, and we want to give a little bit deeper dive there in the time that we have. But first, I want to ask you about ways to create some wealth, and one of those ways is being smart with commercial real estate. So what's going on in the commercial real estate world right now?
Well, right now in Dallas, I mean, the market's very hot. Uptown market is on fire. There's not a lot of space available. The legacy market up north is the same way. So we've got really good fundamentals and not not a ton of space left out there on the market. So rental rates are going up, concessions for tenants are coming down, and there's some good solid fundamentals right now in the market.
Are you seeing opportunities or taking opportunities to now go and just renovate old space? Is that really, you said there's not a lot of land left, right, in in the city areas, in the metro areas. So what are you doing? What are you doing as a commercial, as a company that is going to try to acquire those properties and help people get in them?
On the investment side, what we really look for is again, just the fundamentals. I mean, back in 2007, you had large funds that put a ton of money into the market, and they really made their money a lot of times on the buy. So if they didn't spend that money, they weren't making any money, and so that pushed the cost of buildings up substantially, and they couldn't afford. The rental rates didn't substantiate the price that they paid. So in today's market, a similar thing is going on. You've got a lot of funds and a lot of money in the market chasing deals. So you really have to find those special kind of diamonds in the rough. You have to really dig hard and find a deal that is probably, and many times there's a little bit more risk associated with it, but you got to find the deal that you can turn over that's off market, that everybody else in the market isn't chasing, and it's tough. It's difficult to find, but they're out there. So
some of my business owner friends, they're in a spot where their lease is about to come up, and they maybe want to change to another building. They wanted to do it a couple of years ago, but they just couldn't get out of their lease. So is it still a good time? Do they have any time left to get a good deal, as far as they just want to move buildings and get some good tenant improvement dollars and get into a new space?
I would say it's not the best time. But it's not. It's also not the worst time. I mean, there's still a good deal of money out there for tenant improvements, and you can probably get a little bit of free rent and some concessions to move. But the market is getting tight. So for me and my company, I would sign a fairly longer term lease, as long as you know where you want to be and the amount of space you need, because I see rates pushing for the foreseeable future for sure.
So if you're looking to move now, now is the time to move and look at that opportunity, and to do a longer term lease as well, because otherwise, if you wait, you're going to be paying a lot higher rates and a lot higher rent in the next couple of years. Oh yeah, I mean, rates are going up by in some buildings they're going up 10% overnight. So wow. It's especially like the hot areas uptown and Legacy Market and such. Preston Center, same thing. Yeah, and they were higher to begin with as far as their per square foot, so that's really going to be tight up there.
Right.
If you are a business owner and you're looking to make that shift, you can call us 214-736-9696 here on Tuttle Talk, and we'll get you in touch with Steve LaMure and look at finding a good space for you to rent out for your business. If you're looking to grow or just looking to change locations, also business owners, I know Mr. Wingard, one of the reasons that I had him here is because that's a synergy that you guys have. And there's two different ways to look at it, but you're looking at business owners, you're looking at trying to help those people that have wealth, looking to grow wealth, different areas of that, and to help them be smart with those kind of bigger decisions that you have to make when you're running a company. And so if you have those decisions to make, we want to get you in touch with Steve Wingard as well. So give us a call there. Also with Steve, you're going to get which is really great to do in whatever situation you're in right now, free financial analysis or a second opinion session. Steve, what is that, a second opinion session?
Well, everybody, money is ubiquitous. We all use money, and the question that somebody may have is, should I have a financial advisor? Should I talk to you? And the reality is that just like any other business, every firm and people have their different characters and their different sweet spots. Okay, so one of the things that we try to do if we're talking to somebody is, are we a good fit for them? Are they a good fit for us? Okay. And then, it's my personal desire and goal that if somebody talks to me and is open to me about their life, that I am going to, if I'm not the person, I want to try to at least enhance them by pointing them in the right direction.
So, you talk about that. I know you have you do have a different view. You have more of a personal touch and just a deep understanding of the financial markets and what's best for people. So talk about what else makes you different and Nexus different.
Well, it's interesting because you were asking LaMure about business owners, and we were talking before about just financial planning in general. Talk to the business owner crowd. Okay, business owners are people with more complex situations. By default, have a broader set of things to plan for. Okay, and most financial advisors, most wealth managers just focus on liquidity. They don't focus on comprehensive plans. Okay, so Nexus is a comprehensive, full-service financial planning and asset management practice. And so what we're doing really is offering family office services, to the above average wealth crowd, if you will, but that's below the family office level. So how do you get comprehensive services for somebody that has more comprehensive or complex needs, and what most wealth managers don't address it. So that's in a nutshell right there.
They're like peacocks, the business owners.
So many, because they have too many eyes like Gabe. I don't understand.
It all comes back to me. Yes.
Well, it goes back to Gabe.
The areas of planning are, most wealth managers are going to look at financial independence, education planning, investment planning, but the other issues, right? Businesses have issues inside of them. You got retirement plans in there that have ERISA rules. You have key people. You have business succession. Are the legal agreements coordinated between the personal life and the business life? Are you addressing creditor protection issues?
Gabe, listen up. You got to take notes here.
Estate transfer, So there's just a suite of issues that somebody that doesn't own a business doesn't have. Okay, and then so the way we're constructed is as a collaborative practice, kind of like a law firm or CPAs. None of us can do all these different issues or handle all these different issues ourselves, which is why we work as a team.
Yep, and it is very important that you do work as a team. Guys, we're out of time. Steve, one quick question for you. Do you think...
Which Steve?
Sorry, exactly. Steven LaMure, so still with Steve.
Sure.
Very quickly, 10 seconds. What do you see that because what happened, in 2007 and 8, all this building happened, and then all of a sudden it was too much, it was a glut, and then nothing was rented, and then we had vacancies. Do you see that happening again in the next couple of years?
I don't see it for a while. There's not enough land to build on, and construction costs are too high, so I don't see it for a while.
And hey, luckily we're in a great market. Everyone wants to come to Dallas, so we're in a great space. Yeah, it's a great place to be. You heard it, guys. Don't be afraid. Get in the market. Get active. Be out there. If you need some help with either some financial strategies in your life, or you're a retiree or you're a business owner, you call us here. If you're trying to get into the commercial game and you want to, you're in the business game and you want to move properties or you want to upgrade, you got to call us. We'll get you connected with the professionals. 214-736-9696. 214-736-9696. You're listening to Tuttle Talk. I hope you've enjoyed this hour. Please tune in next week. We'll have some more great guests for you and more great topics. I'd like to thank all of our guests today. I'd like to thank Gabe and John as well, and Dan Bradford, our production director. That's it for today. This is Andy Tuttle for the Real Estate Radio Network. Thanks for listening to Tuttle Talk, where we're making financial intelligence a priority in the community. Have a great weekend.
You've been listening to Tuttle Talk on 660 AM The Answer. You can reach Andy at 214-736-9696. That's 214-736-9696. Or email him questions@andytuttle.com. Don't forget to become a fan of his show by going to facebook.com/Tuttle Talk. You can also catch previous shows by going to andytuttle.com.